Welcome. You are listening to the Louie Minor Show. I am your host, Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is March 11th, 2023. We have a lot of catching up to do, so let's get started. We will begin with the agenda for March 13th, 2023 of the Bell County Commissioners Court regular meeting. First item on the agenda is the invocation, then the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we get to the consent agenda. First item on the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes from March 6, 2023. Then we have personnel and budget amendments, claims, it's account payable, payroll, restitution, and jury pay. Then we have item D, consider the approval of a proposed change request, ALLW 52, in the amount of $113,057 to add a lightning protection to the new construction area of the jail expansion project. This is a change order, will be funded out of the owner contingency account on the jail expansion project. Then we have item E, consider authorizing the purchase of 23 express vote BMD terminals and 23 soft-sided cases to include warranty licenses, maintenance, and support fees utilizing the buy board contract number 622-20 from Election System and Software ES&S for a cost not to exceed $94,530 for the Elections Department. Then item F, consider authorizing an additional legal assistant 3 for the District Attorney's Office to include amending the FY 2023 budget. Then we go to item 4, consider and approve a final plat of the Ropeek Edition, being a 7.014 acre Lot 4, Block 1 subdivision located within Bell County, Precinct 3. Item 5, consider the demolition of the Confederate statue. Item 6, County Judge and Commissioner's announcement. And that is it for the regular meeting. Then we go to the workshop. We have in the morning, following the regular meeting of the Commissioners Court, we have staff updates, reports from various county offices and departments, capital improvements, update on the jail expansion, Salado Annex, Museum, Killeen Annex, and District Court facilities, and discuss 2023 CIP projects. Discuss the Killeen ETJ issues with MOU and pavement design. Discuss and consider Commissioners Court representative to the Bell County Child Welfare Board. Then in the afternoon, we have consider updating rules of procedure and conduct decorum of the Commissioners Court. Item B, consider establishing a process for Commissioners Court appointments to boards, committees, commissions. And then C, consider establishing a community and economic development program. Then we have a couple of things that commissioners may attend. And if we all attend, or 3 of us attend, that would be a quorum. March 13th, we have the Bell County Sheriff's Department's Award Banquet. That'll be at the Expo Center. March 18th, Bell County Public Health Touch a Truck at the Expo Center. And then April 13th, Central Texas Community Health Connecting the Dots. And that is everything for the March 13th agenda. So this week we have a lot of things to cover. Last week I was not able to put out an episode to give an update and discuss what was happening on the March 6th agenda. So we'll kind of go over all of that happened, and there was a lot that happened. But the reason why I wasn't able to, I had to travel to Dallas for an event and travel to Houston on that Sunday for another event with the Victory Fund. And that was a really great networking opportunity, and met with LGBTQ elected officials from all over the state, all over the country. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed doing that. But let's go back to what happened on the March 6th, or I'm sorry, the February 27th Commissioner's Court. I think the only thing, after skimming over the video that was discussed, was the adoption of the fee schedule. That was not adopted. That did not pass. And what the county judge and everyone talked about was the most appropriate place to talk about a fee schedule is whenever we're talking about the engineering department's budget. So I guess we will revisit that during the budget talks. Another thing that came up was the Killeen Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 2 Board of Directors. My predecessor, John Driver, sat on that board, and obviously it's natural that to appoint me there, but there was some concerns through some of the commissioners because I sit on the Killeen Planning and Zoning Commission still, that it might be a conflict of interest. But there, after speaking with both the city attorney and the county attorney and the Texas Association of Counties legal help line, no conflicts arose from that. We didn't know this at this time, so at the February 27th meeting, that was tabled until we got those answered. They appointed me to the Crime Solutions Board for the city of Killeen. The county was on that, or I'm sorry, my predecessor was on there as well. So that is everything. But on the workshop that afternoon, I had put on the workshop to create a citizens panel to discuss a plaque or some type of learning item for the Confederate statue. That seemed like something that I heard a lot of people, at least that want to keep the statue there, that was raised a lot. So I thought that would be a happy medium to appease people and make the peace. But I didn't sense a lot of willingness to go along with that, but I put it on the agenda for March 6th for us to vote. But before we get to the March 6th, on March 2nd, I hosted my thoroughfare plan meeting at Texas A&M. And there were a lot of people there that attended, and the press attended as well. So let me play you a clip from that.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've introduced you to the Bell County Thoroughfare Plan. It encompasses all of Bell County, but tonight we're focusing on one particular area, Precinct 4. In southern Bell County, near the county line, lies FM 2670. Just north of that is Maxdale Road. The plan proposes more than 20 new and connecting roads throughout the county, but tonight the focus was on Precinct 4. News 10's Josh Bowering was at that meeting and talked to residents in the area who are concerned about the possibility of losing their homes for a connecting road.
Empty chairs were few and far between at Thursday's Thoroughfare Plan meeting, focused primarily on Precinct 4 and a connecting road between FM 2670 and Maxdale Road.
Maxdale wasn't even on that map. So why is this even coming up?
Many residents weren't afraid to speak their mind, knowing if they remained quiet, they could lose their home.
We don't want to lose our home. This home we have put our blood, sweat, tears into, not to mention our life savings. This is our retirement home. This is our children's home. This is our grandchildren's home.
Another resident lives on her family's homestead, something they've had for more than 150 years. She brought her son with her in hopes they could see who will be impacted 25 years down the line.
Oh, yes, it's just a piece of land, but it's more than that to us. It's our home, it's our tradition, it's who we are.
Her son is the 8th generation to live on that homestead, something she hopes she can pass down to him when the time is right.
We're all still part of that history and that heritage, and this project puts that at jeopardy.
Those in the proposed road's path have even gained traction with physical and electronic petitions garnering over 250 signatures. County Commissioner Louie Minor says it's just a part of expansion as more people move to the area each day.
You know, there's been a lot of growth and development in the county. There will be continued growth and development in the county, so we just need a plan for that.
Soon the plan will be an agenda item for the Commissioner's Court to consider. No date has been given for that at this time. Reporting from Bell County, Josh Bowering, KWTX News 10.
So a lot of the opposition to the thoroughfare plan in Precinct 4 situated around a ranch called Prairie Haynes Ranch. And I think we'll get into more about Prairie Haynes Ranch at a future episode, but just a brief synopsis of it. There was a family, Prairie Haynes, that owned approximately 4,500 acres in West Bell County. It butts up to West Fort Hood. And upon her passing in 1950, she donated the land to the state of Texas for the orphan kids of Texas. And since that, the Texas Youth Council has been in possession of the land. There's a lot of outdoor things that are done out there with the Boys and Girls Club of Central Texas. There's equestrian rides, and I believe some foster care that is done out on Prairie Haynes. So that group, there's a large group that protested the thoroughfare plan going through Prairie Haynes. And safe to say that I think we heard them, we heard you, and we will be removing that proposed road out from Prairie Haynes. I believe also the state of Texas, Texas Youth Council sent a letter saying that they opposed that connecting road. So, but we'll see how they incorporate the citizens' comments into the thoroughfare plan whenever it comes back before the Commissioner's Court. But I'm sure that adjustment will be in there. So now we get to the March 6th, last week's Commissioner's Court meeting. I wasn't able to, at least for the regular meeting, tell everyone what was on the agenda because I did not do an episode last week. But they had the consent agenda items, nothing routine, or everything was routine on there. They had consider granting a gas utility easement, consider establishing a 7-member citizens panel, and then appointment to the TERS, appointment to the Animal Shelter, Bell County Animal Shelter Advisory Committee, and then county engineer items. But the interesting thing was the establishing a 7-member panel for the Bell County Confederate statue. Like I said, I thought this was a good compromise. It's been mentioned by another commissioner before about a statue or a plaque. It's been mentioned by people that oppose any type of moving the statue. But when you put this option in front of them, they were all opposed to it. The commissioners were opposed to it. Members of the public were opposed to it. So the motion died, like all my other motions have died and failed when it concerns the statue. But really, I think when it concerns anything, I don't think I've had any support on anything from the commissioners. Maybe the fee schedule. Commissioner Woodson kind of supports me on the fee schedule and on the hotel tax. So we'll see if we can get that across and work on that. But Commissioner Schumann from Precinct 3 made an amendment or proposed tabling any precluding, let me change the word. The original motion was to preclude any and all talks, references, etc., when it's concerned about the Confederate statue until January 2025, or unless the state brings it up through the legislature. And it was seconded by Commissioner Snyder. Now, after you have a second, that opens things up to discussion. And I obviously spoke in opposition of the proposed action that Commissioner Schumann brought up. Told him I thought it violated my rights as a county commissioner to be able to place any item on the agenda, and that I would oppose it and challenge that if they go forward with it and getting it approved. Commissioner Woodson agreed with my interpretation of the motion and said that he couldn't support it, but he thought we should be doing other things than talking about the statue every week. The judge mentioned that he was unsure legally if that could be done or not. But after everyone spoke, they called for the vote, and every single one of them voted to table it until January 2025, with the reasoning that the current Commissioner's Court has no wish, no motivation to do anything with the statue, so we need to wait till a possible new Commissioner's Court is seated. The judge did caveat and say that he would entertain a new motion if it was brought forward by either the county museum, the Bell County Museum, or the Bell County Historical Commission in regards to a plaque or display. So that ended that talking point for the, at least for the statue. They voted to do that. I guess another quick thing that was on that agenda as well was the appointment of the Bell County Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. So this was talked about in the workshop prior. They said the Sheriff's Department sent a list to Judge Blackburn, County Judge. They said they was going to send them out to us. They never did. I never received any list. And we appoint them. We appoint these members to the committee, the Commissioner's Court. So I objected because, first of all, I never saw the list, and I wanted to make sure that we had representation from Precinct 4 on that list. The other commissioners listened, and then they made a motion, and voted to approve the list as presented, which doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what they did. So that's why on Monday's workshop coming up on the 13th, I have those two items, rules and procedures update, and creating some type of procedures for putting people on committees and boards, because I'm not a big fan of being told, hey, this is who we want you to put on there. It's my vote, not your vote. And it's my job to make sure that we have representation from the city of Killeen, Precinct 4, and that is not being done. So we'll talk about that in the workshop, and I think that'll be interesting because I'm very passionate about making sure that we have that representation. So after the meeting, the next day, it was reported in the paper, Temple Daily Telegram and the Killeen Daily Herald, headlines: Commissioners delay action on Bell County Confederate soldier statue until 2025. I'll read the article real quick. Attempts to remove or demolish Bell County's Confederate soldier monument will now be put on hold after a decision by the Commissioner's Court Monday. After multiple recent and unsuccessful attempts at removing or moving the statue, commissioners voted to table any discussion on the statue until January 1, 2025, or until other conditions are met. The decision was made in a 4-1 vote, with Commissioner Louie Minor being the sole vote against the motion. Multiple commissioners expressed frustration at recent votes on the statute, all proposed by Minor, when each died to lack of a second. Commissioner Russell Snyder said that as a body, when the court makes a decision, not everyone may like the answer, but they should honor. We've made the decision no less than 8 or 10 times, whether we have had a vote or not, and had a second or not, Snyder said. I think that not having a second basically tells the court that there's no interest in what we are doing. It has been said that we're kicking the can down the road, but we are actually kicking it backwards. The original motion on Monday in regards to the monument was proposed by Minor and would have set up a local commission to give feedback on the monument, similar to the other proposals recently put forward by Minor on the issue. The item failed due to lack of a second. With the issue tabled, officials said commissioners would need to vote on bringing it back the issue before the January 2025 deadline. Commissioner Bill Schuman initially proposed a measure that would prohibit any discussion on the matter, though it was pointed out that that motion could have violated Minor's rights as an elected commissioner. In addition to the deadline of January 2025, commissioners also stipulated other events that would give ways to bring the issue back up. These included if the Texas legislature would pass a bill allowing the county to hold a vote on the matter, or if one of the county's boards would propose a plaque giving extra historical context to the monument. Commissioner Bobby Whitson said he didn't support Schuman's original motion. He also wanted to focus on other needed agenda items. Because there's no new information on that, because there's no new reason to move it, And because nothing has changed over the last 4 years, I see no reason to move it for me, Woodson said. I am not interested in doing this every week. We have a very long agenda and a lot of things that we need to get done, and I don't see this being a priority for Bell County, he said. So, after that meeting, I called the Texas Association of Counties to talk to them about what happened. They mentioned that I need to, because they do not give legal opinions, I need to request an opinion from our county attorney, which I did. And this is the email I sent. I'm requesting an opinion on the following Commissioners Court actions from March 6, 2023. I gave the minutes order number 078-23. And then I told my reasoning. I believe tabling any, and I underlined any, further discussion is too broad and violates my rights as a duly elected official of the Bell County Commissioners Court to place any item on the agenda as determined by the attached JM-0063. I look forward to hearing from you. Louie Minor, Commissioner, Precinct 4. Now, JM-0063 is what the Texas Association of Counties gives in training, and it's an Attorney General's opinion. Attorney General in 1983, Jim Maddox, gave this legal opinion. Now it cites a lot of stuff, but at the very end of it, it gives a summary. Neither the county judge nor the county clerk controls the preparation for the agenda. The Commissioners Court as a whole has the authority to determine and amend its own agenda. Each member of the court, of course, must be permitted to place on this agenda any item of his choosing. So, that is the basis for my request of an opinion. So, based off of that, that's why it is on the agenda on Monday, the 13th, because the judge said he would rather be safe than sorry, or out of abundance of caution, he's going to allow it to go on the agenda until the county attorney renders an opinion. And I would even be curious about that. Our county attorney has said multiple times that he is a criminal attorney with limited civil, and I wouldn't even consider this civil. I would consider this more, I don't know, procedural, governmental. I don't think this is a civil matter, but either way, we'll see what he does. He may have an opinion by Monday before the Commissioners Court, but we'll see. I'm sure there will be plenty of people there, both supporting and opposing this issue, but we shall see. We shall see. There's been a bunch of other things going on in the Commissioners Court in Bell County concerning other aspects of Precinct 4. And I'm really starting to think that it's because Precinct 4 is Democratic. There's been a lot of pushback on ideas recommendations, concerns coming out of Precinct 4. Now, keep in mind, every elected official in Precinct 4 is a Democrat. We have the constable. We have 2 justice of the peaces that are Democratic, and myself. So all 4 are Democrats. All 4 of us have given recommendations, improvements, ideas, and we're getting pushback from the other side. And by the other side, I mean the east side. So you've always heard, if you're from Bell County, grew up here, there's always been a struggle, a power struggle from east side to west side, resource allocation. I mean, you name it. It seems like a lot of the new infrastructure for the county seems to stay in Belton on the east side, even though Killeen is the largest city in the county. And finally, after all these years, we're finally getting a Killeen annex. But yeah, it's been a definitely an interesting couple of weeks, and we'll just keep at it. You know, I'm there to represent the people of Precinct 4 and be their voice and be their advocate, and to give a different perspective of ways we can be doing things in the county, way things can be run in the county. I obviously don't have, I'm only one vote, and I'm getting reminded that every week. The other commissioners are saying we're supposed to work together. We're one unit. But every week since I've been on the commissioner's court, they've shown time and time again there's no interest, zero interest for them working with the west side of the county, with Precinct 4. Zero interest. And I guess it's time for me to start telling the people that. And I don't have any problem letting them know, as their advocate, that the roadblocks that we're facing and progress for the county is on the other side of the county. No problem doing that. So I guess what I'll talk about real quick is just little quick updates on things that have been going on. Like I said, I was not able to do a podcast last week because I was traveling. I went to Houston to the Victory Fund champagne brunch, they called it. A lot of elected officials from around the state. And it was a good networking event. I thoroughly enjoyed going. Met a state rep from Kansas, another county commissioner from Cook County in Illinois, the Chicago area, and a lot of Houston elected officials from city councils. So it was real exciting to be there and network. And the table that I sat at, it was with an older couple, and the guy said, one of the Hispanic, there was a Hispanic and a white guy. The Hispanic guy said, I grew up in Rosebud, and Rosebud is just right outside of the Troy area in East Bell County line. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So you're, kind of knew the area. And I gave him my card. We spent probably 3 hours at that event. Gave him my card and said, hey, I'd like to connect, stay in contact. He gave me his card and, said our goodbyes, came back. Well, later on in the week, I got a email from him. His name was Tony. And it was a link to an article in the Houston Chronicle. And he said, hey, this is in your neck of the woods. And I clicked on it, and it was talking about two predatory banks accused of taking advantage of low-income customers. And I'll read a quick little clip from the Chronicle, Houston Chronicle. First National Bank, Texas, headquartered in Killeen, reported $128 million in service charges and fees during 2022, including $91 million in overdraft fees. They talk about another bank as well. Then it says those service charges make up 30.2% of the operating revenue at First National Bank, Texas, far in excess of the industry norm, and rank them first and second in the nation. And it says just 8 banks in the nation saw service charges and fees make up more than 10% of their operating revenue. So I think that was like Wednesday when I got that. And I didn't see anyone picking it up, that story. I thought it was important for people to know what was going on. So I made a phone call to the Killeen Daily Herald and brought this to their attention. They were unaware of it. And lo and behold, we have right now, top story, Killeen Daily Herald report, First National Bank of Texas raked in $128 million in service fees and overdraft fees last year. Says, I'll read the article real quick. It's not very long. Last year, First National Bank, headquartered in Killeen, reported $128 million in fees and services and service charges, including $91 million in overdraft fees, according to a Houston Chronicle story published this week. Accounting for more than 30% of the operating revenue at First Nations Bank, the fees are far in excess of the industry norm, the paper reported, citing an analyst from S&P Global. First National Bank is also called First Convenience Bank and has branches at Walmart and H-E-B across the state. In Killeen, it's headquartered at 901 East Central Texas Expressway. The Chronicle reported on Thursday that as First National Bank, Texas generated millions in overdraft fees, many of America's largest banks moved to reduce or scrap the charges for which customers advocates have long said are predatory and particularly harmful to lower income customers who incur such fees when they're already standing on the edge of the cliff, citing a social justice advocate and financial analyst. First National Bank, Texas officials in Killeen cannot be reached. So I'm glad that they put that out there. Kudos, Killeen Daily Herald. I really thought that wouldn't get reported. You surprised me, so kudos to you for putting that out there. It's out there. Houston Chronicle published it. And good for you for doing it. Letting the public know. Letting the local readership know. Because I doubt a lot of Killeen residents subscribe to the Houston Chronicle. I do. They have good stories. And this one hits home. It's close to home. And then also breaking right now on the Killeen Daily Herald, since I'm here, number 1 versus number 2, Killeen Ellison High School, to play in the state championship on Saturday, tomorrow. They've been in the playoffs. I know that. We have Mayor Pro Tem Ken Wilkerson's son plays with Killeen Ellison, so I know they'll be down there rooting for his son and the team. But here's the article real quick. I'll read it. It's just a quick one. Win or lose, Ellison's basketball season ends Saturday. The Eagles are in the Class 5A state championship game, slated for a 3:30 p.m. tip-off at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Ellison, which has earned a berth to its first ever championship game Thursday evening, will face the Dallas Kimball Knights. Saturday's game, fittingly, is a number 1 versus number 2 matchup. The Knights are the top-ranked team in 5A, and the Eagles are the second-ranked. The game will be broadcast online on the NFHS network and on Killeen ISD radio at radio.killeenisd.org or on Spectrum 17, Channel 17. After falling behind early Thursday, Ellison fought back and built a lead as big as 8 points in the fourth quarter before Mansfield clawed back. Ultimately, the Eagles beat the Jaguars 52-50, securing the championship berth. Tickets for Saturday's game are available at Ticketmaster. Tickets are not sold at the door. Killeen ISD said to include the following information when purchasing tickets online. And it has promo codes and some other stuff. But hooray, Killeen Ellison, I wish you luck. We'll be supporting you and cheering you on from back home. And I guess finally, I'll just wrap up with a few thoughts. Here in Texas, being a Democrat is hard. Unless you live in one of the big cities, they control the big cities. Democrats, most of the urban cities are controlled by Democrats. But living in urban areas like this, where it's trending purple, a lot of people get frustrated. They lose hope, and they think nothing is ever going to change. But I assure you, there are a lot of great people throughout the state, in and out of the county, that are working hard to make sure that democratic values start seeping their way into elected positions. City council, school board, college boards, committees, any and everything that we can get qualified candidates to run for, so people have a choice. And that's something that I've committed for many years, but I will continue to work hard and be diligent and give you, the voters, the options, the choices that you deserve, that our county deserves. And with that, if you have interested in seeing the county commissioners court meeting, you can watch it live or attend. Begins at 9. Go to the Bell County website. And we are out of here.